Hi, okay, we are live. Hi, guys. Hello and welcome to Azure Nigerian community. We are live for another exciting edition of our Sunday Ask an Expert. Okay, we are here with none other than our leader, Mr. Kuala Ishaka Milikon. In case Mr. Kukwala is an information technology specialist with not more than 10 years of work experience. His areas of technical expertise are data platforms, business intelligence, cloud computing, Microsoft Azure, and Microsoft 365 in general. Academically, he has a master's degree in information production and management. Professionally, he's a Microsoft certified trainer, and he's also certified by International Computer Driver's License. As a global technical trainer, he has more than 11 Microsoft certifications, which is amazing, and he offers highly technical training sessions for lots of organizations here in Nigeria and outside and abroad and all of that. This is none other than Mr. Popola Isiaka. So today's section, accent part, Mr. Popola will be taking us right. I'll to hand over to him now. Further give his brief. Mr. Popola, over to you, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good day to you from any part of the world that you are listening to us live. On behalf of um, Azure Community Nigeria, I want to welcome everybody to this special episode of our training, where we'll be looking at another very important topic in terms of soft skill, which has to do with what? GitHub. People have used GitHub for so many things, and people are still using GitHub for so many things. It is important that we get to know what GitHub can do for us and how it can enhance our capabilities in terms of professionals. Yes, we have stories about who uses GitHub very well. There are some people that say, "Oh, the developers use GitHub very well," but the reality is that whoever that work with technology, that work with cloud services is also on top of being available for using GitHub for project management, project collaborations, and project showcasing, especially to stakeholders on your target audience. So, in the course of this today, we'll be looking at different areas of the technology and how as professionals. All right, so this is a little bit about where I am. Populai Saka Olamilekon is my name. I am Microsoft certified trainer. I'm also a career coach and a mentor. So in the case of this presentation, we'll be looking at this outline, a little bit about the goal and objective of the training. We'll be answering a question that has to do with why do we document projects. Of course, there will be an overview of GitHub for different purposes, the anatomy of when documented GitHub repositories, key components of documentation, sample README structures, data documentation, code documentations, and of course, project structure best practices. All right, so this is a little bit about who I am and a little bit about what I do. Popula Saka is my name. My area of specialization is data platform, artificial intelligence, automation of business process. I have technical skills in the area of data science, data analysis, database administration, technical training, and of course, career coach or as a mentor. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm Microsoft certified trainer. I'm also certified by International Computer Driving License as a technical trainer. My contact, yes, is available here for you if there is any need to connect. All right, so the goal and objective of this session is that as regard to the goal, I want to do a kind of exploration of how to effectively document projects on GitHub because this is a very crucial skill, not only for collaboration but also for showcasing your work to potential employers. Now, the idea is that we have so many techies that are very sound technically, but they can't project what they do. So there's a little bit about what people can understand about them. There are a lot of projects they might have done in the past, but because they don't know how to document them, it may be a source of challenge. And that could also limit them from being reached by prospective clients or prospective employers. And that is why it is important that we know that this as a soft skill, how we can maximize it to our advantage so that at any point in time, we can be rest assured that people are aware of what we do and we also help whether communities, organizations, individuals on ourselves in terms of solving problems. So what are the key objectives? The key objective of this section are number one, to learn why documentation of project portfolios is critical, to also understand key components of good documentation, and also, of course, to conduct hands-on demonstration on documenting projects. All right, so why documenting projects? That's the question that we need to answer. Because if we don't know the rudiments of why something is happening, we may not appreciate it. And we may not appreciate the purpose that it serves our intending, um, you know, intending employers, intending clients, or whoever that's interested in what we do. All right, so number one about documenting our project is that one, it helps us to communicate. Imagine you have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is a need for somebody to, you know, see what you have done, how you have arrived at a particular solution. So if that process is not documented, of course, the process of communication is what is out of it, and that will not give you an opportunity to explain the purpose, the process, and the outcome of the project that you have done. Number two, documenting projects help us in terms of reproducibility. Reproducibility in the sense that, okay, I've done X, Y, Z. Maybe I'm a team lead or I am a manager within an organization, and maybe I'm out of work on out of my organization, maybe temporarily, maybe for vacation, and there's somebody else to pick up maybe something that I've done in the past. Imagine if I've not documented what I've done, the person will find it very, very difficult to, pick up what I've done and reproduce it in order to achieve better or enhanced output. So when we document, we are also hoping that at a later time, if there's a need for reproduction, then it will reduce, starting the possibility of starting afresh and leverage on what has been done earlier. So when you document your project, it makes it easier to produce and validate, which is an essential aspect of what scientific research. Another very important reason why we document projects is that it helps us to build professional portfolio. Like for myself now, my major is data and AI, using a lot of platforms to achieve better solutions. And somebody somewhere may be interested to, see where I am. For instance, now, I get jobs online just because my prospective um, employer or my prospective client can go to my, my social media platforms and see what I have done. Recently, I got a job and I was surprised. I was never asked to submit my CV. They just leverage on what I do, often what I'm passionate about doing. Because I have a very soft skill that has to do with what I document what I do on my LinkedIn account. So it is easy for anybody to go to my LinkedIn account and see what people has done maybe in the last 2 weeks, in the last 1 month, in the last 1 quarter, in the last 1 year, or years back. So from there, they can now see, okay, if Popola is consistent about this, just because of documentation, if Popola is consistent about this, then it is likely that he will deliver when we engage him on different services. That's another reason why we document. It helps us to build what? Professional portfolio. All right, let us move ahead. Uh, After getting to know why we document projects, it is important to also note that we also have to, uh, you know, um, have a better, a kind of better output. So now let us look at an overview of GitHub. This time around, not only for data science, for different kind of job roles that we may do. The first question is that for somebody who doesn't know about GitHub, the question is, what is GitHub? Uh, GitHub is a cloud-based platform for version control and collaboration. Now, let me explain very clearly. When you're talking about being a platform for version control, it means that it can help us to track what we are. Imagine if I have done XYZ and I tracked that XYZ uh, to the extent that I can be. I have a I have an upline boss who asks me, Popola, please go and do this for me. And after I've done that for him, so it is now left for him to look at what I have done. Now, what I have done can be regarded as what? As version one, because that is where the document is starting from. It can be regarded as what? As version one. If my boss that asks me to go and do that also has an input into what I have done, that could be regarded as what? As a version 2. That could be regarded as version 2. And if my boss also has um, somebody else as is maybe we have a director in our organization uh, that also has to review what our, so whatever, which is what I have done, then we now graduate to version 2, which is what? Which is what my boss as what? My immediate boss, my immediate manager, what my immediate manager has also done, which make it to be what? Which make it to be, point of focus in terms of output. So from there, we can now reference if there is anything that we have done at any point in time. So if, for instance, now maybe um, what I have done, my boss and what he has done, maybe my manager, and after my manager has made an input, that is now being sent to who? To our director. So if our director has any reservation about what my immediate boss has done, it's like, oh, it's like our client is looking for this, and this. So if it's what I have done earlier, so the idea is that there will be no need for my boss to also reproduce something else since I have done that earlier. You could just go back to, oh, what Coca-Cola has done is like what the director is asking is what Coca-Cola has done. So in that case, we can now reverse back to maybe version 1 instead of using version 2, which was what my manager did, or instead of going to version 3, which is what the director has said. So in that case, it can help us to do version control. And from doing version control, it can also help us to do what? To do collaboration. To do collaboration. And those are the um, two very important capabilities uh, of what to do with GitHub is that it enables tracking changes. It helps to track changes. It also helps us to manage code and also collaborate with what? With one another. So, which is the area of collaboration. Why do we use GitHub for any kind of project? I just mentioned that not only data science. It helps us when we use GitHub. It helps us to share our data sets. It helps us to share the codes, and it also helps us to share findings within community. Community can be maybe members of my organization. Community can be maybe an external community of professional bodies that I belong to. It also helps us to contribute to open source projects. Maybe if there's any ongoing projects that I'm interested to be part of, yes, GitHub can help us to show that. There is one Microsoft project that I belong to recently about participants from about 7 countries around the world, and we discuss issues, we share updates, we share responsibilities, and whatever that we have as outcomes, we also share that outcome to our stakeholders for their inputs too. So it also helps us to showcase our skills and projects to potential what? To potential employers, to potential employers. So all these and others are some of the capabilities of GitHub. Now, it is important to understand the anatomy of well-structured GitHub repository. When we are talking about anatomy, we are talking about maybe the science or the way of documenting GitHub repository properly. So because a well-structured repository immediately communicates professionalism and make it easier for others to engage in your in your project. Now, it is important at this point in time because it's a terminology that will be seen henceforth. Repository. Repository. What does repository mean? Repository is just like a workspace environment, or we can see repository as a folder, right? For instance, now I imagine I have a folder, right? I call that folder A, and inside folder A, I have maybe I'm doing a project. Sorry, where's my eraser? Um, I'm doing a project that is known as a project, right? Projects XYZ. Now, to keep record of project XYZ, I now developed a what? A workspace. I now develop a workspace. Let us say this one as what? As workspace, right? From that workspace, it means that this is my work environment. Whatever I want to do on project XY should be domiciled inside A. Now, inside A, I can now have subfolders. I can have what? Subfolders. I can have something like maybe B, like C, and something like D. Now, B, C, D are subfolders. Subfolders, right? So now, in the concept of GitHub, repository is known as a workspace that houses what? That houses, if possible, a lot of folders. So in the course of the demo, I will demonstrate to you how you can create a repository and how, if possible, you can create what? You can create folders. You can create folders. Now, what are the major in the anatomy that I mentioned? We are talking about what are the things that are very, very important when you are talking about GitHub repository. One, it is important that you have what we call README. README is just like a page that describe almost everything that you did inside the project, right? It is like point of contact. If anybody comes to your repository for a particular project, you know, a repository houses a particular project. Uh, it is the README that people will see that, okay, this project is about this, is about that. They get the message about what the workspace is all about, what that folder is all about, what you are about to report is all about. And it is usually being stored with what we call Markdown. Markdown. So usually being as Mark. And that's why when you see README, it has an extension as what? MX. It has extension, file extension as MX, which is what? Not MX, MD. It has an extension as MD, which means what? Markdown.md, which is Markdown. So it's also important that yes, we can have some other folders, which could be data folder, especially if you are a data professional like I am. You can have data folders. You can also have notebooks in case when we are doing some coding. You can also have what? Code directories, and you can also have some other subfolders as the case may be. All right. So, what are the key components of documentation? What are the key components of documentation? Now, the key components of documentation involved README file, right? It forms README file, which acts as the front page of your project. That's what point of contact. When people come to your page, that is the what they see first. So README file should also include project title, description, installation instructions, usage, and results. That is, if you are reporting about your project, you should be able to have detailed information about um, what we are trying to communicate to your audience. Then it also has what we call data documentation. From data documentation, this explain where your data comes from. So this is an example of if you are working with data platform. It helps to tell your prospective user about where your data comes from, its format, and transformations made, if there is any. If there is any. So if there is no if there is no transformation that we have done, of course, that will not be part of what you report. Um, then it is also important to know that code documentation is also very, very important. Under code documentation, we are talking about using inline comments and doc strings to explain your code logics. So in this case, um, there are some terminologies that you may need to explain in the course of what in the course of your job, which will require that people get to know what you have done, and how best uh, they can be of advantage to their usage. Whereas in this case, we are talking about what? Having what we call maintaining a clear file structure, like having a data folder, having a notebook folder, having a source code. SRC means source code, and having a models, and what? Having a kind of output. Having a kind of output. All right. So um Yes, what are the contents of a sample README structure? I've mentioned that README structure is the point of focus for whoever that come to your GitHub. That's the point of focus for whoever that come to your GitHub for maybe for what you have done or for exploration. What are the structure? One, it's important that um, it is important that your README has what we call project title. It's also important that it has what we call project description, which give an overview of the project, problem statement, the objectives. And it's also important that it has what we call installation instructions, installation instructions, which has to do with what step to step you are taking within the environment and dependencies that are involved. Yes, you can also mention something about usage. You can also mention something about result and insights, which means that, okay, from the project that you have carried out, these are your findings, and these are what possible insight from your findings. Maybe you are making recommendations, or maybe you are doing visualizations just to communicate your output. So it also has what we call contributor slash contact information. Contributor has to do with what? Uh, Almost everybody that contributed so much towards the success of that project. Imagine you are a team of 4 people that you have worked together on a project. Yes, you can acknowledge the individual contributions towards making that project a tangible results for celebration or for output that as the case may be. There you can also provide your contact details. Contact details has to do with, okay, how can anybody looking at your project output, how can they reach out to you, maybe for questions, for clarifications, or for possible engagement, for possibility of engagement, maybe if they have something else they are doing and they want you to be part of, can be of great importance to you for better reach out and for better feasibility, for better feasibility. All right, so it's also important to note that when I talk about data documentation, please, I'm taking, because data is my own area of specialization, and that's why I'm referring to case studies from data. So you can also liken it to your field. Maybe you are a DevOps, or maybe you are into security, or maybe you are into cloud administration, whatever aspect of what you do, you can also cascade it down to what you do so that people can also, make sense out of what you are doing, right? So for data documentation, it has data source, which explain where your data is coming from. Is it coming from Kaggle, which is an open source data set repository, or we are also connecting data from an API, or you have your custom data set from your research or from data that you have collected. Yes, we can also have data dictionary. Data dictionary help us to, to understand what different headers. You can have a case study that you have something like this. Maybe you have SN, right? You have maybe when you are collecting data, you have units. We have units. You have quantity, and you have total. Total, right? Maybe for the item number one, the first product is blade, right? The first product is blade, and how many units sold? Maybe 2 units sold. Sorry, what is the cost? The cost is 2 naira, right? The cost is 2 naira. How many quantities sold? Maybe 40 quantities sold. Of course, to get total will be what? Multiplication of the units, units sold by quantity, which will now be what? Which will now be 80, right? So in your data dictionary, right, you can tell us about what unit of measurement. You can tell us about what data type, and you can tell us about what pre-processing steps. For instance, now this name, you can write in your data dictionary that anywhere you see name, it means what? It means product name. Whereby on your table you just use name, but you can come to data dictionary to say anywhere you see name on a table, it means what? It means product name, right? You can also come to your data dictionary and write anywhere you see unit. What unit means? It was unit, uh unit purchase, unit of product purchase. So it means that I've explained about name, that is anywhere you see name, it means what? It means product name. And anywhere you see the first item is what? SN. Anywhere you see SN, it means what? Serial number. And anywhere you see unit, unit means what? The unit, the unit of quantity, the unit of product sold. And when you see quantity, that is the number of quantity sold. So you can come to a data dictionary to explain what you mean by all these abbreviations. And of course, when you are seeing total, total means what? The sum of, total sum of purchase, or I can say total sum of purchase, which is what? A product of unit cost. That is, total is equal to what? Is equal to units multiply by what? By quantity. So so we can explain, as the case may be. Now for data type, you can say, okay, what's the unit of, uh so this one is unit price. Now what is unit of price? So it is in naira, right? It is in naira. And what is the unit of total? Total too is also in what? It's also in naira. So those are the kind of what we have in the data dictionary. So now another thing that we need to take attention of in terms of data documentation is what we call ethical consideration. Ethical consideration. In ethical consideration, we are talking about what? How we can anonymize sensitive data, right? Imagine I'm collecting data about, a medical research, right? About a medical, maybe I've done a medical research that has to do with what? That has to do with, um, um, patients, patient care, patient care data, right? Maybe patient care data. Now, patient care data, could be, a lot of things that has to do with what? A patient, like like a patient's name, maybe like a patient's name, like a patient's phone number, maybe like email address, like, all other things that can help us to track a patient, right? So in that case, that is a sensitive data, and it has to be what? Anonymized. Anonymized means what? Use something to replace those sensitive, those sensitive data. There's something we call under security, under cloud security, that's what we call PII. That is personal identifiable information, right? Identifiable, personal identifiable information. That is anything that can be attributable to me. For instance, now, there's what we call NIN, national identification number. That's like, in abroad where they have a social security number. So all those are critical information about the personality that can be traced to the person. So this has to be anonymized. Then it's also important under ethical consideration that you cite sources appropriately. I made case for a cargo the other time. So if I collected a sample data from cargo, it has to be acknowledged. Or if there was a research that was done somewhere, that I collected their data maybe for usage, then I have to cite that this data was collected, um, from the work done by XYZ. From work done by XYZ. Uh, Then, it is also important, uh, that, we also understand what we call code documentation. Under code documentation, we are talking about, how our code are being documented. How our code are being documented. In that case, we have different ways to document um, our what? Um, to document our code. We have what we call inline comments. We have doc strings. We have Jupyter Notebook. Please, I have said that I'm taking a case study of what of being a data practitioner for that matter. So this can warrant us to, let people know what we have done, and also let people be aware that XYZ have been done, and we need to, uh, you know, um, be carry everybody along so that they can see what we have done, as the case may be. All right. So it's also important that we also do what we call project structure best practices. Project structure best practices. So in this case, we are looking at how can we, structure our projects within the GitHub environment, so that the other time when we are talking about the advantage of GitHub, we are talking about what? Reproducibility, right? That is, somebody may like to see what we have done and also, embark on that journey. So it is from uh, the best practices that we have done that they can pick up what we have done and also leverage on that. So this helps us to achieve better and easier navigation of what we have done for others to see. All right. So I will now give you a demo on all these aspects of this GitHub that we have that I have discussed with you. How to set up a GitHub account, how we can enhance a GitHub profile, how we can create a repository, how we can upload item to a repository, and how we can work on a README file. So let us see how far we can achieve all this within the time limits. All right, so I will uh, I will drop my slide now and share my browser with you so that we can both be on the same page. Just a moment. Um, um, Let me share my slide with you. Sorry, my browser with you. Um, Share. I want to share what? I want to share my browser. Um, it has uploaded. Share screen. From screen, which one do I want to share? Um, want to share. Oh, this is not coming up. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. Let me share again. Yes, so this has come up. Then share. All right, so this is my browser. where I'll be demonstrating on GitHub. On GitHub, the first thing is how do we create a GitHub? How do we create top account? So that's the first question.
Mr. Kokola, I'm not
Um,
sure we are seeing your
sorry,
browser yet. Mr. Kokola,
you cannot see my
from my
browser.
end,
Wow.
no, I'm still seeing your screen from my end.
Let me load it again. Maybe there's a delay from network. Let me check that again. Screen share, Windows, then my browser.
Please,
This
guys, you
should
can
be
drop in
up now.
the drop in the comment
Can you see it
section if you
now?
see his browser. For me, I still see your screen. I don't know if
Wow, wow, wow. What is happening? Um, Please, audience, can you confirm if you can see my screen? Please write on the chat if you can see my screen or not at all.
I think your I can get some personal message and you can see only your
Uh,
picture.
I don't know why it has refused to share. What about now? What about now?
Only your face is what we see.
Hello?
Your face is what we see. We can see your screen.
And from my hair, it has captured my screen. I can see the lines that it has captured my screen. It's also telling me that um, Studio Restream is sharing a window. Do I want to stop or do I want to stop sharing or I want to
Also,
hide?
Steven
Wow,
on the
right.
chat mentioned that we can see it, and also Okunlas mentioned the same. Apparently, we can see your screen.
Um, Let me check that again. Just a moment. So let me stop sharing and take it again.
Thank you
Um,
guys for sharing your
Screen share. Um, okay, maybe I use another browser. I don't know why it has refused to do that. And I can see. Okay, let me confirm again if you can see my slide. Let me share my slide and please confirm. Can you see my slide?
No, we can't see your slide, Mr.
Hello, can
Okola.
you see my
We can
slide?
only
Can confirm.
see your face.
Uh, so there is a
Okay,
challenge. I don't know
I think
why.
I think something. Hold on, just a minute. Probably it's delaying to load. Let me see if
Um,
no, I'm not sure it's not doing anything now. So
I don't know why it has refused to share. Mm, wow, 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 wow. I have used all options. Um, Let me check more. Even from the more, I just need to share my screen. So maybe in this case, I will need to share the entire screen. Let me check that. So that's the last option. Just let us see if that will work. And if it doesn't work, then I don't know where the issue lies. Okay, I think something has come up. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now?
It's trying to bring something, but I've not been able to see. Just a blue background, I would say. So
Wow, 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 wow.
maybe you need to choose a browser at this point. But it's just showing a blue background.
I was choosing browser. I was choosing browser.
Okay, this is select all screens, right?
Let me check entire. Let me check the entire.
Entire screen, yeah.
That's the last option. Yeah, yeah. So that's the last option. Um, mm,
Um, we can. Oh, okay. Just a minute. I think
the
we can
entire
see
screen, right?
the GitHub page now, where you have
Okay,
your
okay, okay. That is fine. So now the idea is that for demo,
hold on, please. Please, guys, on the chat, you identify if you see what I see, please. Okay, yes. So we got a yes. So I believe we are good to go now. Go ahead,
all
Mr.
right.
Bukola.
So now, so yeah, thank you. So the idea is that if I want to use GitHub, where do I start from? You start from having the GitHub address, which www.github, right, .com, www.github.com. Of course, this is just a signing in into my account because I have signed it earlier. So if I have not signed in earlier, you will not be able to see this. It will ask you to provide your what? To provide your signing. For instance, now if I go here and I click on sign out, I click on sign out. So it means that anytime I want to come back to github.com, it will ask me to do what? To sign in. So immediately you have done your login details by providing your username and password, then you can now sign in. So when you now sign in, so this is now the interface of a repository, sorry, the interface of a GitHub account. For instance, now if I go to my dashboard, dashboard will tell me things that I've done. Like for this site, these are the things that I've done recently. This site is about the people that I'm following. This site is talking about what? Some recent updates, maybe as regards GitHub or whatever. So if I come back here, um, that is about that. Now, I now told you that for you to create any project, that project has to be in a workspace. And the name of workspace is what we call a repository. So how do you create a repository? You create a repository. Please look up here at this plus sign. At this plus sign, you click on the arrow down and you see all these options. We have new repository, import repository, new code space, and some other ones. But for instance, now, if I want to do a new repository, I click on the new, right? I click on the new. From new repository, it will ask me some questions. That okay, yes. Do I want to use existing repository templates? If no, then it means that I want to create a new one. So a new one, we just give it a name. Let me call it Azure uh, Azure GitHub demo. So maybe that is the name of my new repository, Azure GitHub demo. So let me remove um, on the underscore. So now this is my repository name. This repository name has to be cross-checked whether the name exists or not, whether it follows the laid down rules and regulations that you need to follow. If not, this name will not be acceptable. And because it follows the laid down rules and regulations, that's why it is being marked green, that okay, as at now, the name has been accepted. Now, if I have any description about this project, so I can say, okay, this repository is aimed at this repository is aimed at showcasing um, showcasing different capabilities of what? Capabilities of GitHub in projects documentation. Right? That is just about description. You can also see that description is what? Is optional. You can do it, you may not be able to do it. Then another question is about, okay, this repository you want to create, do you want to make it public? That is, everybody from any part of the world can see it, or you want to make it what? You want to make it private. Now, there are some jobs that I do that are private, never to the public. And there are some jobs that I do that are to the benefit of the public, right? So you select anyone. Now, for me, I want to leave it for public so that people can access it. Then there's also the idea about what? README. Can you remember what I told you about README the other time? README is where you describe your project, what you do, what you aim at doing, or what you wanted to achieve, so that people can be carried along about the aims and objective of what you are doing, right? So from there, it is important that you initiate. Initiating means what? You click this, which means you want to make use of a README file. So if you forget to click on this, then you will not be able to see what? You will not be able to see README, which means that people will not be able to read about what you are doing, right? So now there are some other options about git ignore, choose a license. Those ones we want to leave them by default for now. That's not our interest. I click on create repository. From creating a repository, I can now see that, okay, a repository has been created. So what is the name of the repository? The name of the repository is what? Azure GitHub demo. Azure GitHub demo. And from here, I can see that, okay, for now, this is what this repository is all about. Now, you can look up. When you look up, you see some other settings. Sorry, you see some other possibilities. Now, if you go to issues, issues is telling you about what? Maybe you are doing collaborative, and there is a concern that you want to raise. This is where you raise a concern. You just come here, new issue, and you give details about what that issue is. So when you give a details about that issue, okay, maybe let me just demo one not showing properly. This is a challenge, right? I just say, okay, demo one not showing properly. So if I have somebody on my team, I can ask them to, okay, please review, please review demo one. Please review demo one. No, I've created what? I've created an issue, which is what? Which is like a complaint. So if I click on create, that will be created. And if I have people within my network, they can immediately see that, okay, Pukwala has created an issue. What is that issue? Demo one not showing properly, right? If we are doing collaboration, that's the idea. We are doing collaboration and they have raised an issue that, oh, please, oh, this one is not working properly. Oh, maybe I have somebody that I want to tag to revisit that area of what is not showing properly. So now that is what we use issues for, to raise concerns and to raise concerns, assign concerns, and also do what? Do a kind of what? Provide solution to the concern. We also have what we call pull request. What pull request is talking about is that maybe if somebody has provided an answer, right? That okay, popular is a concern. I've worked on that concern. Then this is now the solution to that concern. So I can come to pull request. That is okay. What you have, the concern you have raised, there is solution that I have what I have done. Then as an admin, maybe I'm the admin for the group work. I can now say, okay, the question that he has done, is it correctly done? If it is correctly done, then I can accept what he has done and it will be part of our what? It will be part of our projects. So we also have what we call actions. We also have what we call projects. We have what we call wiki, security, and some other stuffs. Uh, the sorry, I don't know what is happening with Chrome that is stripping off. File profile error occurred. I don't know what is happening. I don't know what is happening with I don't know what is happening with I don't know what is happening with um I don't know what is happening with what is Google Chrome that is stripping. Maybe let me just do this dot github github.com. You know, like I mentioned the other time, it will ask you to sign in. From signing, you provide from signing you provide your details. So this just taking us back. Wow. So if I go to please, like, how many minutes more do I have? Um so we oh god, this
Mr.
will take me
Kukola, we have
back
5 minutes
to
more, boss. We have 5 minutes more.
this will take me back to authentication. Oh god. So my authenticator is not available. I think it's better we stop here. I don't know why um um I don't know why Chrome is taking us back. Please, can you see my Chrome again? I mean my
Yes, we
GitHub
can see
again.
your profile. Yes, we can.
Wow, it's asking me for authentication and the authenticator is not here. Wow. Maybe we have to have another section for the demo so that we can almost every that I've said, we can see how it works out properly. So thank you so much. If there are questions, yes, I'm available to answer questions. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Kukola. This is a very, very, I must say, a very powerful section. Okay,
Yeah.
it's time to start feeding in questions. If you have any questions from the audience, please kindly share your questions. I'm sure Mr. Kukola is available for. So I think we have about 3 minutes for the questions, and
All right. Please, if you have any question, you can drop them on the chat so that we can pick them up. It's like there's no
I'm not,
question from the
I'm not
chat.
sure we. Yes, I'm not sure we have any questions. Let me see.
All right.
Technical
So
platforms. Well, seems there are questions. And sadly, we are out of time. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Popola. It's been an amazing section, I must say. I'm sure we have all learned how important the GitHub is for visibility of our expertise. Like they always say, it's not good enough for you to be good at your job, but also let people see what you are good at. And GitHub is apparently GitHub is a good way to showcase your expertise. Please, let's try to. I'm sure Mr. Kukola will better arrange a the next session a better demo so we could run through the setup program. Also, if you have a link or any helpful link you could share around this, it will also go along.
Yeah.
Uh, many thanks to you, Mr. Kukola. Do you have anything you would like to share with us before we wrap up for today?
Do I have any?
Anything, any information you would like to share with us? Any additional information you would like to share?
All right. So I just want to thank everybody for being part of this episode of our training. Um, by next week, we'll be coming up with two other very important sections. One will be for Saturdays. We do technical trainings on Saturdays, and we do soft skills on Sundays. For Saturdays, we have sessions from 10 a.m. to um, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And for Sundays, we have sections from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. So thank you for joining us. All
Yes,
right.
thank you, Mr. Kukola, for that announcement. You have said it all. Also, we want to apologize for the community for the late entrance. We promise to do better next week. So stay tuned and please also follow all our social media, subscribe to our YouTube, follow the LinkedIn links and all of that. Thank you so much. And it's a wrap. Have a wonderful evening.